Welcome back to my garden. I managed to remember to clear the phone memory, so touch wood, there won't be too many interruptions in this week's edition. Well, during the week I was watching some random videos on YouTube, and one of the things that drifted into my feed was an interview with Victor Frankl from, I guess it must have been just at the very end of his life, whenever that was. I'm not sure about the timeline. And he made an interesting comment about self-actualization and how he saw self-actualization, and I'm probably mangling his ideas. His ideas are quite deep, so one quick view of this interview late on a Thursday night. I'm not sure I really picked it apart forensically. But anyway, his idea seemed to be this: that self-actualization isn't something that we strive towards. Rather, it's something that happens to us when we search for and find meaning in our lives, when we lead meaningful lives. And that's quite an interesting point. And it sort of got me onto a line of thinking as I tried to make sense of what he was saying. And I came to the conclusion, but one of the ideas that sort of floated into my mind is that, rather like in that very well-known viral video of Simon Sinek's about the whys, the whats and the hows, the power of why. The why should be at the center of what, for example, a company is doing, rather than the what and the how. Again, I'm butchering and paraphrasing, but essentially that was an element of what he was saying. And it seems to me that this is a sort of parallel to what Victor Frankl was saying, that, our search for meaning is a search on some level for a why kind of answer. And finding the things that we love doing, well, that's a what. And doing them as well as we possibly can, I guess, would be a how. So when I'm sort of trying to package together this whole idea of, in some sense, a program for us to master self-actualization, to become much better versions of ourselves, I guess that's really it. That we have to confront all three questions. Victor Frankl was driving at something much more profound, that, and he mentions, or it is mentioned in the interview, I think perhaps by the interviewer, his love of quoting from Nietzsche, and this idea that when you find your why, you can stomach almost any how. And I guess that's one of the central messages in Victor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. That once you have a sense of meaning in your life, a lot of these other quite serious things become periphery, become almost meaningless. For example, gross injustice or the mistreatment of oneself, indiscriminate cruelty, meaningless tasks in themselves that are meaningless, but that if you have found a sense of meaning, well, then the task is okay. You can deal with it. But obviously, not just but, praise the Lord, very few of us face that kind of extreme situation that Victor Frankl faced in the camps in the 1940s. Most of us lead very nice lives, and we have an abundant array of choices as to what we're doing and how we're doing it. So those choices, in a sense, are important because we need to make a choice. But I think if we put all three of these questions together, we perhaps are onto the path that we need to follow. We need to find things that we love doing. We need to commit to them and do them as well as we possibly can. And over time, that implies a path of mastery. If they are suitably appropriate, if they're good choices, the things that we're doing, if they're things that provide scope for us to flourish. And of course, in this process, we need to find and embrace why we're doing things. If you're not sure about that, and I've said this before, one of the essential reads in my Mastery of Self-actualisation, or Master of Self-actualisation program, one essential read is Victor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. I think what's interesting as well, putting all this together, is it does indicate why so many people have suffer from strong feelings of alienation in our modern world. Why so many people are in a bit of a crisis because they haven't answered any of those three questions. Rather, they have made the mistaken idea that what is a means of exchange, money, or a facilitator of things, of actions, things and money, or perhaps even, in some cases, a simple kind of proxy for evaluation criteria. We have put these things, money and stuff, as at the pinnacle. And they are no such thing. They are not a thing that we want to do well. They are not doing that thing better. And they are not providing meaning in any real sense. We use them as proxies, as I say, for those things. But they shouldn't be. They might be an adequate measure. For example, if you are if you're a stand-up comedian, then doing as apparently top stand-up comedians, so many of them do, before you do a stadium tour, going to a little comedy club and seeing if your jokes get some laughs, is a very interesting measuring device for how you're coming along in writing out your comedic routine. But that is all it is. It's not actually, that validation is no more than that. So if you don't get it, it's not a cause for despair. In the same way, doing a job to the best of your ability may lead to you being better remunerated. And in that sense, your remuneration or the conditions of your work, and as those steadily improve, are measures of your performance in a way, but they are not the end goal. And whether those measures are there or they're not there, it's not, I suppose, totally immaterial, but it's not the point. They are just measures. On some level, of course, they are necessary. They oops, went off and do I start again? Well, I'm not going to start again. I got tongue-tied, and that's it. This is a warts and all video. I'm just going to plough on and get back to the point. The point is, and I think you know, it's been well made, or as well as I can make it. We have to answer these three fundamental questions. And a byproduct of those answers may be accolades and rewards. In the same way, I suppose Victor Frankl might be saying that this thing, self-actualisation, is a byproduct of successfully answering the question of how to find meaning in your life. And I guess that's the heart of it. That's, you know, if we do those things, we will lead a good life. And that's it. Let's get on with it. This has been not just because for reasons of my theatrical and rather blooper-esque. I was trying to find a word. I'm not sure there is a word. Tongue-tied moment. But I have been talking around a point. But it's certainly one that drifts into focus quite frequently with me. And I think it's one that nags away at all of us. Some of us perhaps have good coping mechanisms, ways of avoiding dealing with the questions as they start bubbling up the surface. Some of us embrace them. I guess there are people out there who find a sort of Zen-like state where they're not answering the questions because they are living the answers in the moment. And well, I guess we can all aspire to that sort of situation. Anyway, a bit of a roundabout, another roundabout video, but that's it for this week. As always, I trust your learning is going well, your lives are filled with joy, and until next week from a sunny Brazil, ciao.